Sports coaches are fond of saying there is no I in team, and that's true, but there is a me. In fact, a team is made up of a whole bunch of me's, and if it weren't for all those me's, there wouldn't be a team at all. A group of individuals, each laying aside his own self-interest for the good of the whole, makes a team that is powerful and victorious, whether they're on the football field, the battlefield, or the mission field of our culture, as part of a team called the church. This is important to keep in mind when we're talking about revival. We know that the survival of our nation depends on a Holy Spirit revival in the church and spiritual awakening among the lost. But what we call corporate revival, that sovereign move of the Holy Spirit that energizes and transforms the whole church, often begins with a personal revival in the heart of one or two individuals. Then, as those individuals are ignited with the fire of revival, that flame spreads to a few others, and eventually to the whole church, and finally to unbelievers. One of the most powerful revivals of the 20th century started just that way in the region of Wales in Great Britain. There have been a few spiritual awakenings in the history to span the globe and touch millions. But it can be argued that none has as much concentrated power and impact as the Welsh revival. It seems that the Lord looked down on Wales and said, I am going to show the church and the world what I can do with just a handful of faithful saints who will yield themselves to me. It began with a personal revival in the life of one Evan Roberts, a 26-year-old ministry student who came to a prayer meeting at his home church with a 4-point message on personal revival. As the people began to embrace and practice those 4 disciplines Roberts outlined, the spirit of revival spread, and within weeks the whole region was rocked by a mighty spiritual awakening. What, you may ask, are those 4 powerful keys to personal revival? Well, that's what I want to unpack over the next several weeks in order that each of us might experience personal revival, leading to an outpouring of the Holy Spirit on the whole church and ultimately on our whole nation.